And we're live. Take it, RB.
Howdy, everyone. Welcome to Crow's Nest No Quarter, episode 29. This one's called Last Minute Raid Prep. We've just had a scintillating discussion about politics, but now we're here to talk about Battle Pirates. So if anyone wants to come and join us, the link is in the Google chat.
I'll repost it.
Sorry?
I said I'll repost it because it's gotten scrolled by at this point.
Oh, sweet. And we've got the usual, not very many people, so come and join us so we can have a good discussion. So on that note, we've got Ross Crow.
Good evening.
We've got Toxic.
G'day everyone, how are we?
Damnation, of course.
What's up?
And me. Howdy, everyone. So we're, how much are we? Like 4.5 days away from the raid. So you titled this one Damnation, so go for it.
So how, like, where's everybody at and being ready for the raid? I know I myself, I will actually have managed to get 5 razor tails done in time for the raid. I'm pretty stoked about that. Because, like, you know, I mean, I know we're getting a flagship, but quite honestly, in all the things that I've seen in the testing that we've done, is there is a significant, noticeable difference in damage having the 5th one as opposed to just having 4. So I'm stoked. I'm ready for it. I'm anxious to see how things are going to go down.
Cool. Now I've got 4 razor tails all done, ready to go. So I'm not going to get to a 5th one. I haven't done the TLC yet, but we'll talk about that later.
I have 4 now. I'm gonna have a 5th short build. I honestly looked at it and I think I'll have time. It's gonna have a few extra antis on it, on the gales on my 5th one, because of time limitations, it looks like, and it might work out in my favor. I'm not really sure. So I figured I'd throw a weapon on the 5th one and maybe load it all up with gales so they build a little faster than the rocket. And so that was my idea. And it looks like I'll have 5 done in time for the event. So I should be great. I mean, really, that's how I think.
And last but not least, the redheaded stepchild of the group. Go Toxic.
Yeah, the black sheep. Well, I've only got 3. I've got 3 done, and my 4th one is in the oven. It's got 2 days to go, and then I've got to put 3 more armor plates on, so I'll get it out before the raid. Hopefully get a couple of build tokens and get the 5th hull with an engine and park it in a corner or do whatnot. That's the plan. Now, the only reason I am where I'm at is because last FM I happened to get 9 days worth of tokens. So
yeah, lies. I didn't see nothing. Lies.
Had I not had that, I would never had 4 ready for the raid. So
yeah, I have to say, honestly, he did get it. I was with him on the hangout when he opened the chest, and yeah, it did happen.
It happens. Good stuff happens to good people. See.
I'm not sure why you got it then, but anyway.
It happens every week.
So let me screen share here for a minute because I want to screen share my razor tail build that I'm going with because Ross was desperately asking me for help earlier today.
Yeah, I was in panic. I might add to those that also. I was in full panic mode for a minute. It was a brief minute until when I realized, I threw my 4 the razor tails into the 100 target and they've melted. So I want to stress the fact that I did forget even myself for a brief few minutes that is not the target. That is not going to be the raid target. There's several factors that are altered, I believe, and so I'm just not going to stress at this point on the fact that they melted.
Yeah, normally what we end up seeing is the XP targets. That might be what we end up with by the very end of the cycle, but it's usually not what we start out with. So, but anyway, this is what I'm going with. I finally locked everything in. Of course, I'm going with one recondite rocket. I did a fair amount of testing. You know, I did it with all needlers. I had even gotten to the point where I got rid of my Gales and just went as many needlers as possible and stuff. And like honestly, out of everything I've done, this seemed to be the best. The best. What's the word I'm looking for? I keep wanting to configuration. I kept wanting to say confederation, and I'm like, that's not right. But yeah, I'm going with a recondite rocket, and then I'm going with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 needler rockets, and then 2 Gales. Like the weird thing about Gales is you don't really even with having 2 Gales on 5 boats, you're not going to have enough antis to shoot down all the rockets and stuff. But quite honestly, they're one of the main reasons they're there. If they pick off some of them, that's cool. But you know, they give you the 10% explosive defense for each one that you put on there. So I mean, that's always a good thing. Special wise, I went with hydraulic resistors. I have warhead reloaders on for reload and damage boost to my rockets. Of course, you know, the CTX alloy 3 armor for my defensive against explosive and concussive. The wave diver warheads, which I'm still working on ranking these things up as far as through the retrofit thing, because apparently I never did all my explosive crap in the first place. But anyway, yeah, I went with those for the splash and the explosive damage. Countermeasure loaders 4, just because reload is always really good. And I went with Hyper 30 because the projectile speed, the bonus combat speed, the evade bonus, and the explosives or the splash damage reduction is still a big conundrum that's up in the air, because I talk to people who say yes, it is fixed, it does work, and I tested it, and I talk to other people who say I've tested it, it doesn't work. So I don't know. It's there. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, if it doesn't, it doesn't. But I'm still getting the combat speed buff, and the evade bonus and the projectile speed bonus out of it. So in my opinion, it's still a worthwhile special. But that's kind of what I got going on with mine. Oh, of course, you know, the 4 plates of CTX armor, D5 CTX. So hey, you guys on the panel have anything different going on yours?
Only thing different on mine is I don't have the countermeasure special that you have. I have looking here. I went with shielded circuitry because I just know that I'm going to end up autoing if possible things, and so I end up driving through the fields. So I added the tactical field resistance and the slow resistance by using the shielded circuitry. And I was hoping to make up on it. I understand that I'll need I want the Gales, but that's why I was loading up a 5th razor tail full of Gales.
Right. I will say I did test shielded circuitry on the test as well. And ironically enough, Hyper 30 did better than the shielded system. So I can take out of that what you will, but I know I did like lots of different testings on there.
Well, I have the Hyper 30 on also.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, the only one I'm switched was the countermeasure special.
Right. Yeah. See, I don't know. Like I said, I tried bunches of different things but I mean, maybe it'll be different when it comes live. I don't know. We'll have to compare results when we're done and figure out what happened. Have a little competition. A 1-day ship build token for whoever does better.
There we go. It's at least we're close to
and then if I win, you'll owe me 2.
There you go.
That's right. I just outed you on live air. What about you, RP and Toxic? Did you have anything different going on your build?
Well, I got instead of the Hyper 30, and I've got. I wasn't sure about the splash damage, so I instead of not having anything on it, I put explosive 4 on it. But from what I hear is that the Hyper 30, the splash does work, the reduction. So I'm gonna have to refit that onto it, and seeing how that goes, you know, I may even put because when I hit this morning, I hit a 100 this morning, and I found that the turning was very slow. So I'm thinking of maybe putting ion thrusters 4 on it. They also got the extra splash reduction, and then it turns. It should turn a lot better then. I don't know. It seems to me that it didn't turn really that as good as it should have with the numbers displayed. But the first thing is the explosive force coming off and the Hyper 30s going on. That's the first thing I'm going to do.
Yeah, and I guess when it comes to ion thrusters too, a lot of it might depend on if you plan on driving or if you're planning on autoing. Because if you plan on autoing, you don't give a rat's ass about turn speed.
Yeah, and then the only other thing I didn't really see whether you had any other rockets on bar the needles, but I've got 2 hulls that got 1 each of the recondite and the lockdown, and then I've got the other 2 hulls. One has got 1 lockdown, the other one's got 1 recondite. So I've got 3 of each on my in the 4 that I built.
Yeah, I have 1 recondite on each boat. I just didn't see the need for the lockdowns, honestly, because with the spread and the splash that the needlers do, that seemed to be sufficient. So even if I was landing I was targeting where they were and they passed by, my spread was so wide that it didn't really matter.
Cool. Cuttlefish and Nofavus are both asking in chat why you went for hydraulic and not the explosive.
Because it made my defenses even across the board. Both are at 98% or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And to be quite honestly, when all those other speed systems like the hydraulic and not the hydraulic, but the penetrative, the radioactive ones, and the ballistic ones were all 700,000, and now they want to shaft me with 1100,000 for the 1.1 million for the explosive one. They can keep the damn thing. I'm not going to support them just up in the bar every single time. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, there's the price gouge for the things that you suddenly need. I did want to take a step back there too, because the Wave Rider warheads you talked about that. Mm-hmm. So I haven't checked whether it's R15 or not. So, and I don't know if other people have too. I missed that. You could retro it.
Yeah, I do believe it's in. Hang on, let me look if I'm actually in game. I can't remember if it's in with explosive systems or if it was in there somewhere else. Let me take a look real quick.
I need to check it. I know that much.
yeah, they snuck it in there and didn't say anything about it being in the thing. I mean, you want to talk about communication? Here's one. Communicate that kind of shit when you do it.
Yeah, for sure. Because I know. I guess probably the onus is on us to check, but I'm like, well, I didn't check. So,
dude, there's so much crap that's in all these labs and in all these this and all these that. You can check and still easily miss it. But yeah, it's in with the mortar systems where the enervated explosive, the precision napalm detonator, and all that stuff is. The one that's 75,000 uranium for each level you want to rank it or something ridiculous. I think that's why I about before
65.
Well, for me right now it's 75 because I'm going from 7 to 8, so it's 75. I think by the time I get up from that level 15, it'll probably be something crazy like 100,000 or something because it goes up as you progress in the tree.
Yeah, well, that's a good tip then. Obviously. Check that sort of stuff when it comes out, because I got to be, completely honest, I got so used to nothing new being included all the time. I just haven't bothered looking, and now all of a sudden I'm like, oh look, there's all sorts of stuff in here.
Yeah, I agree. I just checked and mine said rank 15, so I was thankful already I didn't have to search for it. But everyone probably should check to see on the on the print itself. It will say what rank it's at. So I just checked in again to double check, because sometimes things get freaky on my base and come and go. But mine's hit 15, so I'm good. Now, I know that there's going to be many out there that probably are not going to have this ranked.
No, that's the thing. If you haven't been using these things for quite a while, why would you upgrade them? But I went through a stage of just upgrading things whether I needed them or not, and now I'm sort of at a stage where I don't really have anything more to upgrade, but I'm going to have to really keep an eye on that. And just because I think I'm ahead, I probably should check.
No, I totally agree. I'm one of those guys that I just went through. I did not do it in any order. I went and did the things I used first,
Yeah.
And so now I'm going back through, and even at my level, I still have some things that are not retroed, and you never know, I guess, and so I'm staying on top of that now. I laid off of it for months because what wasn't needed. I just would level up what was needed, and now I'm seeing things just magically appear. I think it's a good idea. I went through and did all the advanced first, and then I'm going to go. Then I did go to the weapons, and from there on and on. But so I'm just trying to retro everything.
Yeah. And apologies if you can hear me frantically clicking, because it's me going through and checking things.
Yeah, I was a bit worried that I didn't have it, that I wasn't at 15, and I'm relieved now because I am at level 0, so that's all good.
Level 0?
Yeah, level 0.
Well, I mean, correct me if I'm not mistaken, but originally when retrofits came out, wasn't the purpose to kind of give a little bit of a boost to what was supposedly at the time outdated tech? That way they wouldn't have to make whole new stuff.
I believe so. It's a long time ago.
Is that correct, or is that not correct?
It makes sense. I can't verify.
So, if that was the purpose, why should brand new shit even be going in there? You should have released it already upgraded. So I don't know.
No, right. I agree. On a tech like that, I don't know why it would come out not retroed at all. Or I mean, whatever the point is at now, not even have a retro show. And if they want to add it later on, then okay, because it's brand new tech.
Real quick, let me interrupt you here for a minute. I do know for a fact that Cuttlefish has bat rays, and we have nobody on the panel to talk about bat rays. So I think Cuttlefish should get his ass on here to at least talk about bat rays.
There we go.
Putting that out there. All right, carry on.
And Damnation will pay 100 coins for it too.
No, not even a little bit. I don't even have 100 coins. I have 4 fucking coins on my account. I don't know where I'm going to come up with 100 coins to give him.
We need the information, so you're going to have to pay.
I told you, Saturdays you're in charge, so I guess you're the one paying him 100 coins.
No, it's only funny money in Australia, so it doesn't count.
Shit rolls downhill. That's all I'm saying.
And I'm in a pile of it now.
Yes, you are. You wait till we're off the live air, pal.
Why hold back? You wouldn't normally. Anyway,
so there has been some changes, though. We went over them last week about some of the targets, the sub changing, and then the missiles can also be outrun if you can visibly see them. Now, so that's going to be that will be helpful too.
I will say that the smart torpedoes are actually fairly easy to see. They come out and they almost look like drones.
Okay.
From what I've seen. And I think that was in the VXP target before they pulled them, because they had to pull the smart torpedoes because the bat ray guys were getting pre-VXP or whatever. But the smart torpedoes in there, yeah, you could visibly see them. They're kind of big enough that they almost look like drones.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Good.
So it's not like
Yeah,
they're the normal size torpedoes where you're like zoomed in and squinting at your screen. You're like, is that one?
Right.
Now, did they not say that they're going to swap out the Reapers for Nighthawks?
Correct. Yeah.
And I could almost swear that I saw Reapers in the 100s just when I did it earlier
Well,
today.
That's a different target.
It's a totally different target. They didn't go back and change the VXP targets. What they're saying is they're going to change the raid targets so the skin is more appropriate to what the hull actually does. And that all comes down to that Reapers, even when they're quote unquote underwater, are still supposed to take a certain amount of damage, and they weren't. And that's why I was like, well, see, that's the kind of stuff that makes people mad, you know, because they see a hull, they know what a hull's supposed to do and how it's supposed to act. And when it doesn't act that way, that's when they get pissed off. So that's why they changed it to a boat that wouldn't actually take damage underwater, so it represents what was going on.
Yeah, I just thought they'd already implemented that.
No, not for the VXP thing, but they have for the raid. If they would change the VXP target, it would take time away from the refactor, and we don't want to do that.
That R word starting to turn into a swear word, just saying. Anyway, keeping on going. So any other tips? And I mean, it would be really good to talk about bat rays, but obviously if none of us have them, you know, we're just going to have to go with what's going on. I know there was the post from CM Chris about the skirmish cycle breakdown and using the other variant ship as your 5th ship instead of wasting it. So is anyone planning to do that?
Even if I didn't have 5 going in, oh, well, look, there's Cuttlefish. He took the hint.
Welcome.
Yeah, that was a subtle hint indeed.
I was going to say, he took the hint that I beat him over the head with.
Subtlety is our speciality here.
But even if I didn't have 5 Razor Tails going in, no, I wouldn't get like the opposite hull to flush out my thing, because, like, for example, you know, the Razor Tails, their whole thing is to use the cav field to pop up the Reapers. Well, how is having a bat ray in there going to help me with that at all? You know. And like the bat rays, their whole deal is having the field that damages smart torpedoes, but you have to have a significant amount of those fields in there to be able to do that damage in a timely manner. So like how it's not going to help me having 1 in there. So yeah, I wouldn't go for the opposite hull for my 5th boat, even if I would have had to.
They buff each other though, don't they?
Defense wise, I think yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But as far as the abilities, no.
Yeah, defense-wise, they act exactly like the Razor Tails in terms of adding that plus 36 to explosive and concussive deflection, or defense.
Right.
So, Mr. Bat Ray, well, I don't know. Why don't you go into talking about Bat Rays real quick, and then we'll circle back around to if you would have got the opposite hull to add to for your 5th boat or not.
Sure. Yeah, I got 5 bat rays because I built 4 naked ones before they announced we were getting a free one. So I built that one. It's slightly different because I'm testing out stuff that I want to put on my flagship. Like there's a cryo battery on there because who knows, it might help. It's an excellent hull. It completely obsolesces all other siege hulls that I've had. It obsolesces the prototides. It obsolesces the Hunter. It doesn't obsolesce the subs because they are subs. But I can auto subsector cores cleanly for about 50 minutes of damage, which is far better than my prototides ever did.
Right. Lots better.
They seem to rip up all these lower level targets clean. And for that, I like them better than the Razor Tails because the Razor Tails can't go into the subsector cores because they don't seem to take explosive damage particularly well in there.
Well, and that kind of somewhat makes sense because last time the damage we were putting out was Actually, it was just concussive, wasn't it? We weren't doing any explosive damage last time because it was the Fangs had torps and then the Hunters had depth charges. So both of those were concussive. So those targets were designed to be hit by concussive damage, not explosive. So that's something they probably need to go back and look at.
Right, and my build for them is pretty much the same as the Razor Tail build. I have 2 Gale 3s per ship until I can figure out how many Gales I need, and then I have the rest is all the new guns, except for one slot where I put on a cryo depth charge because once again I'm testing out stuff, and it does add 6% speed. Honestly, it hasn't been effective so far. The range is wrong, so that's probably one I'm going to swap out. And I'm testing out agility on my hulls, so I have agility 4 on my hulls. I replaced the depth charge critical special on mine for that, and I can get up to 68% evade on all my ships, and with a Sea Serpent crew, should be pretty spicy. Maybe I'll be able to avoid torpedoes in there, as that is the only direct fire unavoidable damage that I have.
All right, on. Now, have you done any testing with the different variations in the VXP targets that we've had today, or no?
There's a sub in there.
Oh, gotcha.
And that sub is I just can't kill it. 5 guns, or 5 ships loaded with guns. I pushed it into the corner, and it still took me forever to try to hose that down. Just BB shots at it. And this was a fully sculled fleet, because I wanted to try it. And no, it's repairing for the next 14 hours. So,
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a lot of repair. It's interesting that you talk about the cryo depth charge, though, because I know I thought about that as using it because it's got such a short build time now, and because, you know, obviously it's going to have further range than my needler rockets, that I thought it might be effective. So I might still look at that with mine rather than I think I was thinking about putting an extra lockdown on mine, because I'm sort of at this position where I'm not going to get my 5th ship out. I mean, I can, but I want to carry tokens into the raid. So I think I might look at doing that, and, you know, just dealing with the 2 range rings. So that might come in handy.
yeah, carrying those tokens is a great idea. Are you planning, like I am, of buying both flagships and trying to have both flagships in by next Friday?
I don't know about by next Friday, but it'd be a good, you know, I'm really thinking that that's going to be the way for me to go forward. So I think it would suit me better, because I'm probably only going to get half a ship out now. You know, if I go for the, because I haven't done any of the TLCs because I just haven't really been bothered. But if I was, you know, to start a new ship now, I'd get, you know, half of it done. So do I forget about that and carry tokens into the raid? And I think that's going to be a better strategy. So if I do need to refit, or I find that there's something I need to change, I'll be able to do it. So that's my plan going in.
I know I myself, like, the main reason I ended up not saving any tokens to carry into the raid, because, like, when I stopped and thought about it, I'm like, well, the only thing I really have to build between now and next raid is I would have to crank out the flagship for the Razor Tail. And that's not going to take me a month to do, and I got a month between the raids. So, like, I'll still have plenty of time to crank that out. And I really can't think, honestly, off the top of my head, and I know this is going to sound crazy to a lot of people, but I can't really think of any other PvE stuff I need to crank out at the moment other than that. I mean, yeah, I'll probably do, you know, a couple bat rays at least just for subsector resource bases, but I'm not necessarily in a big hurry to get them done.
You don't even need armor for that. If you just have 4 bat rays without armor, you can blow up a subsector core.
Yeah, I've heard people talking about. Honestly, I've heard somebody talking about doing a subsector core with 1 bat ray that had armor.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
My God.
That's impressive.
It's called Mist. Oh, yeah, never mind.
No, before we get too far away, and I hope I'm right in what I'm saying now, is that if you like me, you got four hulls done for the raid, and you're planning to do the fifth, make sure that you put an engine on it, because it will go down to the slowest speed in the fleet. Is that I'm correct in that, aren't I? So if there's a ship with no engine on it, you will have something that's crawling around in there, and it's probably going to die very, very quickly.
And something else worth pointing out, I know a lot of people said about, well, I'm going to build my fifth hull, and even if I put an engine on, I'm not going to put any weapons on it, so it'll stay back in the corner. But if you're putting it in there to get that the buff, say for the example in the Razortail case, the buff of popping up Reapers faster, that buff has a range on it. So you're not going to be able to just get away with only putting a countermeasure on it, tucking it in the corner, because you're not going to get the benefit from the popping up buff at that point. You will still get the benefit from the defensive buff, because I think that's map wide, but you won't get the benefit from the pop and the sub buff if you tuck it back in the corner. So it's something to be aware of.
Yeah, but if you just want to pop that into the corner, or if you want to drive it stacked or whatnot, then you need the special and the armor on it, or it'll die straight away anyway. So it might be of more use in the corner, unless you've got the time or you've got the tokens or whatnot to put that on.
And it goes even a little further than that, because I'm running into this issue myself, because I'll be a little short on my fifth, but I'm needing to make sure. That's why I'm going with I need to match my specials, because some of my specials are adjust my speed. So I'm putting them on, making sure all the specials are on there, but I'm lightening the time up by adding more Gale 3s instead of the rockets, and that's how I'm going to get away with the time that I need.
Yeah, if you're really short on time, you could just slap on, just cover it in Gale 1s. One real weapon and cover it in Gale 1s and go with that. Right.
That would be exactly.
I mean, I definitely would say, though, if you're going to do like what I like to call the half-ass version of a fifth hull, your priority has to be your engine and your defensive specials, like your armor and your CTX3, and if you're using Hyper 30 or whatever, that has to be your priority in those builds, because otherwise it's just going to die as soon as you get it anywhere.
Right, and actually make your fleet worse. Because if you don't have the engine speed stuff, the rest of your fleet's going to go slow.
Yeah, you're just adding repair time, which is already, pretty high already. So you don't want to be just adding it for the sake of adding it. I also thought too, Ross, that another thing in your situation could be to add lockdown rockets as well, because they're fairly short build. Even so, get as many Gales on as you can, but then you could put some lockdowns on there as well. So, and then just refit them later, because it's such a short build time on them.
Yeah, it's actually going to be my extra ship. It's the one I'm gonna get rid of when I have a lead anyway. So
yeah,
it's a clown car.
Russ and his clown cars.
Just speaking of, we were talking a little bit about slowing down, by not having engines on or whatever. But as far as slowing down, it was really nice to see that they made the speed reduction of the ice fields. They lessened that by 30%. Like I said, it's not going to really affect how much damage you take at the target or much, but what it will come in handy is time completion. It's not going to take as long to complete the targets at this time. And I don't know about you guys. I know I myself personally, anything that cuts down the amount of time it takes me to hit a target when I'm going to be sitting here hitting like 100 of them anyway is, yeah, that's awesome.
Yes. It really is. That is something that the people have asked for. I'm not so much about base hitting time limits, but I got to tell you the map target time limits would be great to be reduced.
Yeah. And let's face it, it's no fun sitting there looking at a target and you're just totally frozen, and you're waiting to move again and all that sort of thing. It's not fun, and it's not really you know, it's not an exciting mechanism. It's just there to cause damage. So.
No, right, and you're just clicking away, trying to get out of it, you know, and it doesn't do anything. So yeah, it's not fun.
Hey, I heard the word damage. That would be a great cue into talking about the TLCs.
Rolling on.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys. In my opinion, they can take. Well, I'm not going to say what they can do with those TLCs, but I will say I'm not doing them. I will say that much.
Go ahead, Toxic.
Didn't say a word.
Oh, okay. I know that. I'm sorry. I know that the Katie's owners are doing real well. So if you're a Katie's owner, I would suggest that you do use your Katie's, and if you have a couple mana cores, to throw them also in there with it, and you'll be amazed how little damage you're going to take in the entire thing. For those of us that have just the mana core fleets, I myself did the I guess it's Devil Driver. I did Devil Driver, the prize pack 1, and I made it through prize pack 1 with my full fleet, and it was crazy. I think I looked down, it was like 10 hours damage, I think. Yeah. Is that right? Is that what you guys are getting?
That sounds pretty accurate.
I got close to 14, but yes.
Yeah, same me. I mean, I did not do the Devil Driver. I did the Whiplash. I thought I'd gonna get I quickly go and get my my Rise Up token so I can finish my 4th and maybe start a 5th. But that dream was quickly drowned in tears of sorrow, because being a Riser owner, I started on pack 2. I used 95% of my missile fleet, and I still wasn't done. So I had to pop out and put my scatter fleet in, which hasn't got a lead ship, and finish it with a scatter fleet. So I had over a fleet damage to do prize pack 2, and I then repaired and tried prize pack 3, and I did really well. I put a what crew on Damnation?
Did you say you put a Deadeye Destroyers on there?
Deadeye, that's the one. Yeah, Deadeye Destroyer.
Deadeye Destroyers doesn't work on scatter guns, right?
Right.
The placebo effect.
Yeah. So I went in there with that, and I did really well. I did like the first 3 rounds, and I only had a little over 3 hours of repair or whatever it was, and then I made a mistake in the 4th or the 5th run through, and I had like 6 hours or 5.5 hours worth of damage in one of the run throughs, and I said, "Bugger it! I'm not doing that. There's no way." And that was the last of that. Now, saying that, I don't think that the damage is any higher than in the raid than it was. The only thing that I think is there is no half repair, and I wasn't using a grease monkey, so it goes down to quarter repair. Now, had that been quarter repair, I would have coined that fleet back and kept going and did the whole lot. But I'm not spending, 30 or 40 coins or whatever it is to do 1 or 2 run-throughs of that stuff. There's no way I'm going to do that. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but that's what I think. The damage is the same as the raid. It's just we don't have the repair time.
Well, I mean,
the
damage might be the same as the raid, but the difference is during the raid you only had to do 2 elite targets to get your points or whatever before you would repair. Right now we're having to do 6, if not 7, elite targets in a row before you can
in an hour. There's the issue. You can't slow repair.
It's 6 elite targets that you have to do, and then the last target is a new target,
which is probably even worse than what the elites were. So
allegedly yes.
So
Yeah.
I mean, expecting us to like, if you're gonna have to do 6 or 7, and you got to tune down the damage, man. You can't have it doing the exact same damage that it did in the raid. It's not. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I threw both of my Manticore fleets through to get all the way up to get my Razor Tail. They're both still dead. I have over 24 hours repair to bring my Manticores back up. I'm done with that TLC. The damage is just way too high, and there's too much other good stuff to repair on at the moment. I mean, I've got ships dead from VXP. I have to repair them. And there's some really good turrets in the FM this week. So I'm just stacked with repair times. So these TLCs, they can keep them.
And I know, like, you know, when we brought up the damage, Chris was saying about how, you know, this is top tier content for the top tier hull going into a new raid cycle. And I'm like, dude, that's not really a very valid defense, because it's not like this is the first time we've ever had a TLC for a top end hull going into a new raid cycle. You know, we have these fairly often, actually. You know, that's where we got like the Blood Hydra, and some of the other second fleets as we were going into the cycles where you needed 2 fleets or whatever. So this whole concept is not something new. What the only thing that's new is the excessive amount of damage that you're suddenly wanting us to deal with to get that hull. And yeah, as far as I'm concerned, you can keep it. I'm not doing it.
But the thing is, the thing what hasn't been brought up yet is that everybody here on this panel has got one of the new hulls. We've got them built, and you know, we're just saying, oh, we're going to have so many ready for the ride. But what about the player that couldn't get it in the raid, and he's just got maybe another Manticore finished, and he wants to do that to get his raid hull? He can't. There's no way that you can do this without excessively coining or having to have a full fleet of them.
If he couldn't get it in the raid, I don't think that he could get it here.
No. There's no way.
Yeah.
Well,
Now,
the only thing that might have been an exception to that is like what Toxic was saying. If he didn't maybe have a full fleet, and in the last run of the Double Trouble or whatever, where you got all those 3 days tokens, he might have been able to finish out his fleet to have a full fleet of them. I could see in a situation like that where maybe somebody couldn't get it in the raid, but they might have been able to get it through the TLC if they hadn't made the TLC stupid, crazy amounts of damage.
Yeah.
He might have been missing a weapon or something or whatnot, you know, and he got it now. Yeah, there's my chance to get the raid hull, and I might get it, you know, get a couple done before the raid. You know, how good is that? Goes in, bang, no go.
Yeah, so I don't know who their target for these TLCs was, who they thought, oh well, this will be a reasonable value for these people in this group to want to spend to get this stuff, but I think they are way off, way. I can't even throw enough ways in for how far off the mark they were on this thing.
Yeah, because the from, you know, what I've heard and what I've read, I've been lacking motivation this week, to be quite honest, and I haven't started it. So, the people that have done any of these, are you doing like the tank method, or are you driving your ship stacked? Have you got any tips or clues for me?
Well,
apart from don't do it.
I did it on auto, so you know, I didn't even really pay attention to it.
I did the decoy method, and I got almost through the whole way through Encounter 6, and then my tank died when I only had like 5 boats left to kill or something. Or not my tank, but like by the time I got to Prize Pack 6, I'd been swapping. I had to start swapping tanks, you know, and my other ones aren't really built for being tanks or / decoys, whatever you want to call them. So that, like, by halfway through Prize Pack 5, I started going downhill rather rapidly, you know, and it's like, yeah. So I got to Prize Packs or to Encounter 6, and I killed everything but 4 boats. And it was funny because I thought, well, there's only 4 boats left in there. I should be able to kill the 4 boats with my Skyfires. Well, I took my Skyfires in, they sank, and I was like, well, I'm down to like 3 boats. Maybe I can do it with my Phoenixes. Took my Phoenixes in, they sank. So yeah, I wasted 3 fleets and didn't even finish the prize pack. So yeah, they can stuff it.
And in 1 week, we're going to be able to buy those prizes if our raid fleets work.
Correct. And that was kind of where I ended up being. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna have the 5 razor tails. I can get the bat rays next week in the raid. I was like, what's here that I really want? A couple days worth of build tokens. Oh well, I'll just be 7 days behind on building my bat ray.
It's cheaper. I looked and I get better offers, you know, Rand, if I wait in the store than it would be for me to do the campaigns and coin them. It'd be better. It'd just be cheaper to take the special token offers on the speed ups. For me, I mean, everybody, I guess, the fleet damage is about the same for everybody's build. That's a lot of coin.
I mean, the mastery round, fair enough, make that hard. I got no problem with that. But the first 3, there should have been maybe in the first round, maybe a couple of 60 targets in there. In the second round, maybe a couple of 80s, and one or 2 of the elite targets, so that you at least can advance, you know, with a not so good ship or fleet or whatnot.
Well, the whole should have been in the first prize pack.
Exactly.
To put it anywhere else was
silly. Yeah, yeah.
Do you think their logic
wait. I want to argue that point. I want to actually argue that point a little bit. Because I can totally understand why the hull wouldn't be in the first prize pack, because the hull is the biggest piece of tech that you get out of there. So it should be a little bit harder to get. However, if you get like the weapons, say, in the special in the first 2 prize packs, you can actually upgrade an existing fleet that you had already. So you could, like, you know, beef up your hunters a little bit, be able to do a little bit better in some of the smaller targets. So I don't know that I necessarily agree that the hull should be in the first prize pack.
Didn't it always used to go, you know, like weapon special hull as we progress through there? That makes sense to me.
Originally, it used to be hull, then weapon, then special, like way back in like a fair while back, and then they switched to the special weapon hull. And I almost kind of think at this point it should be weapon special hull. But that's my personal opinion. And I can certainly see why people would have other opinions on that, but that's just my thinking.
Because the whole should be the, you know, for what you're getting, that should be the last prize in my mind anyway. So, but
yeah, I mean, but you should don't be throwing us in the deep end with like, oh, okay, for the first prize pack, here's a bunch of elite targets. I'm like, that's not helping anybody. That's not the only person that's helping is your bank fund. That's the only person that's helping.
Do you think that their thinking might have been because we had an extra raid cycle that more people would be, you know, have a full fleet? I'm not saying that that's the correct thinking, but do you think that might have been part of their, you know, where they were coming from?
No, because even the people that had full fleets and the people who are in what we like to call the top 1% of the game or the top 3% of the game or whatever, even those people are having a lot of difficulty with this TLC. So no, I don't think that was their thinking at all. I don't think there was any thinking at all, to be quite frank about it. I mean, I think they just, oh, well, here, we'll throw all these elite targets in here. And it's like, what are you doing? And oh yeah, not only are we going to make all the targets elite, the elite ones, but we're not going to tune down the damage at all either. And now instead of having to go through and only do 2 in a raid where a lot of people were already complaining about damage, you know, now we're going to take those same excessively damaging targets and make you have to do 6 or 7 of them in a row. Yeah, I don't think there was any thought there. I really don't.
Well, I can tell you what the thought was. we're going to offer some coins for you guys. And then they send out one offer, then they send out a second one, and I think there was a third offer of coins, because I had three different times where my coins would run out. So that's what they were thinking. Oh, look, we make something really hard and we give them a couple of coins and with a little bit off, and you know, there's some extra money for us. But I don't think it worked out.
No.
Yeah, I was speaking of those coin offers. I was kind of actually a little bit upset because, like, you know, I got busy doing stuff and I missed the $5 packages, which is ones I usually pick up. Fair enough, that's on me. That's my fault. But then, like, when I see, okay, on the offers that still have 2 days for coins, they have the $100 one, the $50 one, and the $20 one, but they don't got any $5 ones on that one. I'm like, what the hell, man?
Damnation, have you checked again? You should check again, because I thought I'd missed the $5 ones, but I came up and found some new ones in there that had like still over like 2 days left.
Yeah, that's the ones I was just talking about. There's the 99 one, the 49.99 one, the 19.99 one, but there's no $5 coin deals on there anymore.
How many deals do you have at the moment?
I have 7.
Yeah, same here.
Same, yeah.
They've got those other ones where they've got the you get the 1 day ship build and was it 2 gales, or you know,
Yeah.
one hyper or 2 hyper 30s and 2 whatever the other ones.
Yeah,
are.
one's a reinforced ablative armor panel. You get
Yes.
and then but you could get a possibility of the missile defense system 3s.
Yeah.
With the other option, and that's really I see a great difference in the deal there.
I thought about that too. I was like, wow, they really think an awful lot of that reinforced ablative armor and the hyper 30 and gales to offer a whole day's less worth of ship build time for the same price.
Right, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, geez, those to me aren't worth that. But
well, no, but it's the price gouge, because you need the gales for these targets. So you know, that's nothing new. It's not right, but that's nothing new. That's why all of a sudden the gales have gone up in value or in worth, because you know, we need them.
Yeah, and I mean, and I have to say, in all fairness, that's not a Kixeye specific thing. That's the same with a lot of game companies, even like your tabletop games. Like, for example, Warhammer is a great example. If you have a certain piece that, and after the new rule book comes out that makes that piece a lot more powerful, Games Workshop most of the time will raise the price on that piece, because the way the metagame has shifted, that's now suddenly a more valuable piece to your army, so they're going to put a bigger price tag on it. So yeah. that's not a Kixeye specific thing. I mean, do I think it's kind of crappy? Maybe a little bit, but I understand why they do it, and pretty much all game companies do it. So you can't really hold just Kixeye at fault for this one.
But when I'm scanning through when I look at the ship build offer for it's ship build ×2, and then 2 missile defense systems ×3 for $4.99. That out of my offers on that are, I think most people have the same 7 right now, at least. That stands out as the best
Yes.
deal. I mean, by a long shot.
Yeah. So. Because the missile defense system 3s, you are getting, you know, pieces of shards of pieces. And these will help your FM fleets and stuff like that. So, and PvP if you're doing that. So they not PvP, sorry.
And you're getting 2 days of ship build tokens. You know.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean that's what, $4.80 right there just for the 2 days worth of ship. No, wait, is that right? No, that's more than that, right?
More, right? Or 50.
Yeah, that's actually like $10. That's like $9.60 worth of ship build tokens alone. Here.
Right. So I mean, that's the good. That there are good deals if you do look for them. This one's hidden, so I mean, that's a fair offer to me. So
yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, always. I know for myself, I always, do the math and work out what's the best value out of them before I look at buying them, looking at the individual pieces, or how much it costs, because obviously we're paying different money over here. So
Yeah.
You got to be selective. You got to do it smart, and get your coins at the biggest reduction percentage you can. And then look in your store, and when it's 50, 54, 58, 56% off, then buy the token. And then you get another reduction. So,
well,
yeah.
Just remember though that the percentages aren't 100% correct. So
No, but if you were to coin it out of a normal, out of a cent value, you would get that instead of 48 cents, you would maybe pay 24 or 22 for that token.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because that's the way I work it out. So don't just go blindly by their percents, because their percentage off might be, a plus, and then they take the percentage off. So don't just swallow the percentage. Have a look at it and be a smart buyer if you're going to buy.
That breaks down to everything in life, right? Be a smart consumer. Don't spend your money foolishly.
Yeah.
I mean, I only ever buy tokens, ship build tokens or Conqueror build tokens in the store. I would never buy VXP that was 10,000 coins and now you get it for 100. There's no way that I would do that. I only ever buy coins, and I bought some of the 70 coin for $5. I bought a couple of them, and the only thing I'm going to spend it on is well, not the only, but the main thing is the shop where there is things highly reduced that I can use. I won't buy any structure build tokens. I won't do that, but I'll buy ship build tokens because that's where it's at.
I know generally when I purchase coins, even from the special deals, really the only thing I ever spend them on is raid repairs. That's really the only thing I ever spend them on, unless I accidentally spend some, because I did that the other day. I was doing something in my doctor and bounty and accidentally coined 5 coins repair on a fleet that I was trying to actually cancel a repair. And I think I accidentally hit the wrong button. And then for some reason, I forget which one of you I was on the hangout with. I think it was actually Shane. And I was going to make a VXP token for my Conqueror thing. Instead of hit the start research now or whatever, I accidentally hit the coin now button, and poof, there went 12 coins. It's like, I wish they would give us a pop-up to say, are you sure you want to do this?
Oh, I coined a whole. I've coined turrets on accident. Went 574 coins on accident.
Yeah, that'd be ticket time. It's like, take this crap out and give me my coin back.
Well, the truth, the truth is, I've probably done it so many times on accident now that it's my fault now. You know what I mean? Now they have been generous. They actually have. They have taken care of me in the past, so I can't talk bad about that. I mean, there's a delay period, but that's an issue that's totally on me, and I accept that. So I've been thankful that so far that they have taken care of me on the ridiculous some things I have clicked. But also over 7 years, so come on.
Yeah. I mean, but it's funny because they ask for a confirmation when it comes to spending titanium or uranium, but you won't ask me for a confirmation when it comes to actually spending money.
Right.
Yeah, very good. Cool. So has anyone got anything else about the raid or VXP targets or any sort of...
I got something else. Let's talk about the rerunning of base race again. I didn't like it the first time when I couldn't take my dragons in there, or when people couldn't take their Zeluses in there, whatever. In my case, I couldn't take my dragons in. But and their defense was, this is supposed to be more of a catch-up mechanic for people, blah, blah, blah. And, okay, whatever. I'm still not happy about it, but I don't care. Because the 1 day structure build tokens in there weren't any value to me at that point in time. And that was more or less their point. But now that you're rerunning it and OP11 is out, those one-day structure build tokens hold value for everybody in the game. And you have just totally blocked out anybody who either scrapped their icebreakers to move on to the current fleet, to keep current in the game as opposed to using old stuff, or those people who were using Zeloses with monoliths and never built icebreakers. You've totally alienated both sets of those players out of a campaign that has prizes that holds value to literally everybody in the game right now. That is not right.
And let's not forget also that there are token limits, really harsh ones on this one. So you can only hold 2 of the structure day tokens, and if you did the 3, you can only hold 10 of the 3-day ones as well. So,
I guess the big difference now, though, as opposed to the campaign now, is the last time they ran it, is you can actually spend those 10 one-day tokens you get like every time you get one, because we're in OP11 currently.
I mean, I'm not complaining about this, so it's not a complaint. It's just a statement. I mean, I've never used icebreakers. I used Zelos, and then I used Zelos with some kind of mortar behind it or to the side of it. We had the what do you call those bloody things now? You just mentioned it, Damnation.
Dragons.
Monoliths or dragons?
Yeah.
No. The mortars that we had with the Zelos.
Monoliths.
Monoliths, yeah. I used that, and I've never. I mean, I had a set of icebreakers, but I've never used them, so I just scrapped them because I never used them, thinking that I've got the next better hull that if anything comes up, I can always use that, or I can go back to the Zelos and the monolith and whatnot. And there's a lot of little players that may not have had the icebreakers, that may have used the Zelos combination, and you lock them out. And it's I think it's more meant for the little player than the big player. So that's why I'm not really upset about it. Forget it. I get it. I don't. It doesn't bother me. But it's the little players that have got a Zelos and the monolith built, and they can't go in now unless they build themselves some kind of a tank. If they have tokens for the icebreakers, because I mean they are in the FM, but why would you take tokens for something that you've already deleted, or that you've got never had? So it's one of those things, I guess.
And here's the kicker too. While the icebreakers are in the FM, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think the flag for them is.
It hasn't been offered for a fair while.
But even if it was, and you were able to build a complete fleet of icebreakers, what would you do with them? What could you do with them? Nothing, was got no rank on them, unless you got the VXP tokens for them as well. But without the rank, those things aren't going to do I don't think they will be doing the target.
Well, no, you put together what, 3 of them?
I put three together that shoot, and one was a defensive one.
How far were you able to get in that campaign?
I think I went to. I mean, I did have a flash crash, and as soon as I walked in, it flash crashed, and my fleet was half dead, and I couldn't quite get through it. So I used the dead hulls as race haulers in my prototype fleet for uranium. They're good for something, I guess.
Because of this, of how this campaign worked with this base race, I've told everyone in my alliance, all my small players, to get every single token out of the FM, even the Apollo ones and the Tide Seeker ones. I know they'll never use them, but just stack up every single one, because this icebreaker stuff can come up, and it's better to have the tokens so you could insta build a fleet.
See, my problem is I should never, ever be penalized for keeping current in the game as opposed to hanging on to old stuff. I should never, ever be penalized for moving forward. Because when you start penalizing me for moving forward, my reaction is to just be like, fuck you, you know? And I why would you penalize somebody for moving forward and consistently playing in your game and wanting to be at the top of it? Why on earth would you fucking penalize somebody for that?
It's not just you go.
Toxic. No, go for it.
Well, it's not just penalizing the players that scrap them. It's not letting the players that need to do this, that haven't got OP10, haven't got OP9 or whatnot, that they need to do this and get these tokens so that they can get up to that level and then get OP11 and get the what do you call those, expert builders or whatnot, and do all that so that they can then profit from all that. They're the ones that can't do it unless they've got a fleet of monolith, and you got some kind of an icebreaker tank, or you got the lead monolith. Well, I don't know what that's called now. They can't do it, and it's really for them. It's not for us end game players, you know. And it's a good thing that they put that in.
You know, last time I would have agreed with that. It wasn't for us end game players, but now the OP11 is out, and it costs like how many days is it to upgrade that thing? Like 1 billion. I don't know. It's like what, 21 days? 21 days.
20 days or something. Yeah.
Like, I'm now effectively, even as a top end player, I'm now effectively screwed out of 10 days of upgrade time on my OP because I can't participate in that campaign. You know, yes, I totally agree that leaving the Zelos out is also a very huge mistake, but I can only speak from my own perspective. And I know from my own perspective right now, I'm feeling really, really screwed and left out because I wanted to keep current and keep on top of the game.
And losing those 30 days of defensive structure build tokens, even though at this point in time we can't use them. Well, top end players can't use them. We know that OP Part 2 is coming out after the Refractor. Refractor is only a couple weeks away, so upgrading the OP after that won't be that far after that. So those 30 days are going to sting pretty, are going to sting you long term.
Yep. You not love me long time, Kixie.
Yeah, I was going to say it was interesting that it was offered. The base race TLC was done the first time, and that was, you missed out the first time, but then you get the double whammy that here we're going to run it again, and you're still not going to have it again, and na.
Yeah,
but it also makes an interesting spread in the population now, that there are going to be people at all different levels and time phases of where they're doing things and how they can do it, which is it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, because there'll be some that have got 30 turret fence and others that don't, some that are waiting still another 10 days or 12 days for OP10, and then there's others that have got it done, and it's just interesting the way it's going to all play out and how that difference is going to ripple through the community at different levels. So it'll be kind of interesting to see how that plays out, to be honest.
Well, it's just like Cuddle said just then, he advised all his players to get every token, every little thing he can from the campaigns, from the FM. And I think everybody needs to do that now, because you don't know when you're going to get thrown the...
It should never be required of anybody to go backwards in the fucking game. That's just stupid.
Oh yeah,
but we've found that it's been beneficial to do that. So,
well, I mean, there's a difference between being beneficial in some cases and being mandatory.
Yeah. Who was it that had all those skirmish tokens that had held onto them?
That was Kraken Dog.
That's right.
Yeah. But I mean, expecting your players to go back and build old shit is just a stupid business plan.
Yeah. It's a waste of it wrecks the progression in the game, though. It does. It really does. It takes away, if they're building backwards, it really takes away from them moving forward.
Now, here is something interesting from chat, though. Headache Wilbert says he put in a ticket and they gave him a whole bunch of icebreaker tokens and told him to rebuild. So, I don't know. I'm going to try it. But whatever they do is tell me no, but I'm going to be putting in a ticket trying it.
Right. No, I mean, since you've already had them, you scrapped them. I mean, and you're just wanting them for this one campaign.
Just make sure you get the VXP tokens with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Right.
Did you hold on to your Visago icebreaker?
Oh, no. I'll scrap that too.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I don't blame you because why would you need it? But I know.
Yeah, well, see,
I guess
I would need it because
hopefully
apparently going backwards
forwards.
in the game is a thing now, apparently.
Yeah. I was going to say, hopefully going forwards now, though, that we've got more storage, that this may not be such an issue if they continue to do this sort of thing, that at least we've got a bit more storage to hide things away.
Well, but like in my case, for example, it wasn't even a thing of storage. It's like, okay, we've moved on to these new garrison targets. Everything that we see is going to be these new garrison targets. So I literally have no use for icebreakers anymore. It wasn't that I didn't have room for them. It's just there was no use for them going forward and progressing in the game. And little did I know.
Well, I guess they've still been useful because I know I'm being a mediocre player. I still have old fleets and I still use old fleets, and hell, it wasn't that long ago that I finally built my Gutsbill Skyfire out of tokens and ranked it. And I was like, cool, I'll finally get to use that, and I have used it. So I guess maybe the strategy is that you don't scrap stuff, or you scrap, I don't know, three iterations ago or whatever. I'm always looking at my dock. I'm thinking, what am I going to get rid of? And then I think, well, there'll be one day that I'll get screwed, and I don't know. It's a bit of a hard thing. I know it's
I mean, this is just one subject.
Situation.
This is just one subject that has me like pretty fucking pissed off, if you can't tell.
Look, I see it this way. I can't do the base campaign, and I can't do the other two TLCs. So I'm just going to go and get a million, trillion, billion points in the FM and claim all everything. And you can't go wrong. And I don't have to claim that much next iteration. So.
Yeah. See, and I guess that's where you and I are different, because I'm like, okay, you want to make TLCs I can't participate in, then I won't even play the freaking game. How about that? Because their big metric they go by is time engagement, like how whether people are engaged in the game and for how long they're engaged in the game and stuff like that. So if you give me the things in the game that I can engage in that I want to do, I'm just not going to engage in the game at all.
Yeah.
No,
and I think we talked about it last week that you want to give everybody as much opportunity as you can, because obviously that's opportunity to raise revenue. So you'd be silly to lock yourself out of that. But anyway, go on, Ross. Sorry.
But no, I'm finding myself walking away from certain aspects of the game, and I never did that before ever, and so, and that's what point we're at, like this bounty one, I can't tell you that I'll enter it, and saying that I'll enter it is not my usual participation. I will enter it. I'll get a little bit, but that's all I'm going to do. I'm not the way it's set up. And there's a couple other things. I don't hit those SSRB targets. There's no way. I'm not hitting them. It's just a poor design. And so if they just keep adding these non-fun things, I step away from them. How long is that going to be before it affects my game?
Well, I guess on that note, did you participate in the survey? Did you? Because that's one thing I'd definitely encourage everybody to do is to that survey's linked in Discord, if I'm not mistaken.
And it was on the top of your screen also, and it's also really probably the best survey I've ever seen in the game as far as the detailed questions. And I really wish players that I hope players fill that out actually appropriately with meaningful content. Not what I see a lot of times, not like on the forums. Saying the game
basically what he's saying is don't troll the survey.
No, don't troll the survey, because this is how don't troll at all. Please do the opposite. And if you feel the need to troll, then just don't do a damn survey, because that's not what we need right now. We need participation, and valid participation.
I will say, you know, I rarely give kicks kudos, because in my opinion, lots of times they don't deserve kudos, but I went out of my way to give them a special thumbs up for this survey. I told them I thought it was by far the best survey they had ever done, because the questions that are in the current survey really get down to the heart of the matter about what's wrong with the game.
They do. And if you don't think it's there actually is spots for other, and you can write in, and you're not even limited on a brief sentence or anything. You can, if you truly have some valid point you want to share, this is your opportunity, and there's room for it right here.
I mean, probably my two favorite questions were, what do you spend most of your time doing in the game? And then that was followed up by the question of, what do you wish you spent most of your time doing in the game? And those two questions back to back were, in my opinion, like the two biggest indicators of maybe they are trying to finally get to the heart of the matter.
Mm-hmm. And I do hear that the gripes, they don't care. They don't care. Well, you know, in all honesty, you don't go to spend the time to make a survey like this if you don't care, right? This is caring. This is, so that whole thing is nonsense.
Yeah, and we're doing ourselves a disservice as a community if we, don't give good quality feedback. You know, you're really only shooting yourself in the foot if you want to just go on there and rant. You know, this isn't the place to do it. So, you know, we get back what we give sometimes. So if you want to get some good results, well, you know, hopefully we're all saying the same things. A lot of the complaint have been that they're listening to one group of players, so this is our opportunity to make sure that your voice is heard, and use it properly.
I did get a kick out of something that was on the page, and I'm not going to do any name and shaming, but it was pretty freaking funny that when they put the survey out, and then somebody said, well, are they going to listen to everybody or just a small select group of people? I'm like, yes, they're going to take the time to go through those thousands of surveys they get and check to see which player IDs go with the quote unquote little group of people that they're the only ones they listen to. Yeah, they're going to take the time to do that. I think my response was the size of the tinfoil hat some of you people wear astounds me.
Isn't it the tinfoil bodysuit?
I've been dude. This is probably they live in a tinfoil community. I think. I've been known to put on my little tinfoil beanie every now and then, but they're wearing that size of a hat that goes clear across the county, dude. It's ridiculous.
Very good. All right. Now, has anyone got anything else that they really want to talk about? I'm kind of interested to hear from anyone whether they've been hit with their hoplite wall in and how it's performing, and if it's performing.
I've been hit with it, but it doesn't do anything to the witch doctors. So as long as they take it out, they gate the portal with the witch doctors, then they move in the sloths after that. It's possible they will kill a sloth. I have not killed any sloths. Everybody who's hit me has already been aware of the mechanism.
I want to
Okay.
respond to something in chat real quick. Dapo R said, "Why ask for the ID? Come on! If they were looking for that small group of players that everybody thinks that they listen to, they would have asked for your player name as opposed to your player ID. That would have made a hell of a lot easier for them.
They would have actually sent the survey out individually, or
Yeah, they would have sent it to only those people. You guys never would have even seen it if they didn't care what you had to say.
That's the truth, and that is the truth. I mean, when they put it on the header, they want the community.
Mm.
All right, sorry. Go back to what you were talking about.
No, that was it. You know, whether anyone had anything else, any other topics they wanted to cover, or and I was kind of interested because it's the wall is a new thing. Everyone's claimed their bounty prizes. They've put it in now, so I just wanted to see how it was performing. I haven't been hit, so it's.
I got hit once, but my playback didn't work, so I have no idea what happened. I mean, I know I killed the guy, but I don't know if it was that killed it or priority targeting on my really long range turrets. I have no idea what killed him because my playback's not working. I just get the spinning circle of death whenever I hit playback.
Yeah, that's interesting because I know there were a couple of playbacks I couldn't get it all, but then when I went back and played on Game Room again, I got them back again, or one of the combinations I did.
I learned
because I only ever play on Kicks or Game Room. So
I learned about this whole playback thing. Don't hit it. It's 5 minutes of your time wasted, right? Because no, if it works, it might not be accurate. No, and I get granted it's going to work sometimes. It's like magic. You don't know when, why.
Now, I have to say, when I got hit in Bounty and we watched it live, it was actually like
right on the money.
Yeah, and then we watched it live and saw what happened, and then we did the playback, and I'm like, holy crap, this is like literally exactly what happened.
It was amazing.
So yeah, every once in a while, it is actually accurate.
Right. No, and it's just random. And you can have nothing happen to your computer, change no connections, and then try again and no. So I just don't go there.
I know Dan C in chat is asking, does anyone wish they had chosen the other raid hull? I guess I can't really give you a good answer on that until after the raid happens and we see how our chosen hulls work.
Yeah.
Okay. I wish I had gotten the Bat-Ray.
Why?
Because of all the things that you hear that they can do already that the Razor Tail cannot.
That's true. That's a good point. The SSRB, or the map targets, that would help.
Is there any prizes that you all would like to see actually put into the raid? For me, I want another curator. That's my #1 prize. That's another prize that I would like to see in the raid.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind one of them. I don't have one of them.
Yeah, I actually have one curator build. I like it actually a whole lot. I'd like to see. I'd kind of almost like to see Witch Doctors offered again, and maybe the limit increased on them.
I was just going to say that if the limit went to 5, we'd have I think we'd have a whole bunch of base hitting going on.
Is there any turret you would all like to see come back into rotation?
I would like the UAV turret. I reckon it did a lot. It did not a huge amount of damage, but it just nipped away and I've got 2 in my base and it looked good when I got attacked, when I got hit. So I wouldn't mind a couple more of them for sure.
Yeah, it's one that I wish I had have chosen, but that's usually the way it works out with me, that I choose the lesser of the 2 options. But I guess that's it is what it is. So, and what about specials or anything like that? Is there anything you want to see there?
Turret wise, I know turret wise, I'm not really that worried about anything. I got more turrets than what I have. I have more weapons than what I have turrets to put them on now already. Specials, I don't know. Actually, I do know. Some of the stuff that used to be in the old Drac Uranium bases that like are totally gone from the game now. Like, for example, the missile platform M, You know, I'd love to see that in like 3 probably, because anybody who's going to build like executioners obviously wants those, and they can't get them anywhere right now.
Mm.
But they could put them in the SSRBs. That's what they should be. You know, you do one of them, and then if every 3 or 4 of them you do it, and one of them blueprints pops out, just like it used to be with the drag bases.
Yeah, Dynamite in chat is saying that the Chaos Mortar, and I know that a lot of players are wanting the Chaos Mortar.
Yeah, I was just going through and checking because I lots of times don't look through the lower tier FM stuff. I didn't know if it was possibly in the FM at the moment.
Mm. That's a good idea about the SSRBs though, because that's that was traditionally where they were, and even if it's a shard of something, there's it's a good opportunity they're missing there. So, and it would be easy to do too. It's just a checkbox. Surely it can't be that hard. So, from my non-programming background, but it can't be that hard.
Because a lot of times we say, oh, it's just a checkbox, and it's like, and when you talk to somebody who actually knows something about programming, they're like, no, it's not just a checkbox.
But they have been there previously. That's the thing. You're not adding something to a new target. You're just putting back what used to be there. So, well, but are you? Because it's actually you kind of are adding something to a new target because these are totally new targets. You know what I mean? It's not like they were just changed over or buffed up from what the old template was. They're actually like brand new targets. Yes, but couldn't you attach it to the? And this is, speaking from complete layperson point of view, wouldn't you attach it to the, the visual target that you see on the map, not what's in it?
I would think you would actually attach it to what's in it because it affects the prize payout of the target that you're actually hitting. It's not really attached to the visual that's on the map.
Yeah.
Also, carving through subsector cores is difficult and requires very specific fleets. So that's a real impediment for trying to get that lower level tech into players' hands, I think.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think where it should have been, like the missile platform M, this example, like when they had the turrets of terror thing with all the old turrets and old turret tech and something, you could just throw it in one of those prize packs. It might not be you're getting the missile turret, but it is turret tech and it's older, so that would be a great place to throw it in next time.
Yeah, that's a good idea actually. Put it in the TLC that it applies to. So, yeah, good idea.
I have them every now and
then. Some would argue differently, but anyway, never mind. Okay, so we've probably rattled on for quite a while now. So this is your opportunity. If there is something different you want to talk about.
I mean, when Damnation just said that, I have seen yesterday in my daily deals. There was a token for the weapons lab to go up to level 12. And I've never seen that before, and I was just wondering whether anybody else has had anything like that.
What's that now?
It was in the daily deals, and it looked like the actual token looked like the weapons lab, and it said weapons lab to level 12 or something. I had that in my daily deals yesterday. I mean, I didn't take it because mine is on. It's at level 12. But
I actually did hear something about that, and it has been pointed out to them that that's in there, and it's very misleading for people who already have their shit at level 12 because they can't actually click on it and buy it. It should do one of those things like most of the TLCs where if your weapons lab is already 12, it shouldn't even be showing up in your shit. But yeah, so I'm glad you brought that up. That's something people should be aware of. If you see a token out there that you can buy it in your daily deals to get your weapons lab to level 12, look and see if your weapons lab is level 12 or not before you click buy.
Yeah, I just thought I'd mention it, not for that reason, but for the reason that I've never seen anything like that in the daily deals before.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like that before either. But like I said, I'm just glad you brought it up because I could mention that aspect of it as well. But yeah, I mean, I guess that goes in with the whole philosophy of they're really actually trying to help low levels like get up there and get into the higher end of the game at this point with doing stuff like that. Anybody else?
No.
Well, by my calculations, we are missing one more flagship Conqueror hull. The one for the Witch Doctors and Revenant, right? Because each of our flagships were linked to 2 different ships. Do you think that it will be in this raid? Or are they going to save that for the next bounty?
Wait, what are you saying we're missing again? Sorry, I zoomed out there for a minute.
Thank you.
Well, I was looking at chat, and sometimes I can't read chat and listen at the same time.
The flagship, the Conqueror flagship for the Witch Doctor and Revenant.
I would almost bet it'll probably be in the FM after the raid.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I was going to say it would be in the bounty, but yeah.
I'm thinking the FM after the raid, because isn't that where we got the flagship for the last flagship, the one that was for the ballistic and radioactive? Wasn't that in the FM for like 9 million points or something?
Yeah.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
So that would be my guess.
Interesting.
Anybody else crossing their fingers and hoping we get concussive / corrosive armor in the first FM after the raid?
And for the turrets too, corrosive, deflect something for the turrets.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad. I'm more worried about the armor for the ships than I am for the turrets, though, to be honest. Because it's really crappy right now that literally the only thing you can really take in bases is Witch Doctors. Well, and of course, I'm talking about, like higher level base. Anything that has like 8 corrosive turrets in it, the only thing you can take in there is Witch Doctors. It doesn't lead to diverse gameplay at all. It's very blah, boring. It's like, I don't have to worry about anything because the only person who's going to get anywhere is that guy who has 3 Witch Doctors,
Yep, that's all I see is Witch Doctor fleets. Witch Doctors with a couple of sloths.
Yeah, and even the sloths are slowly on their way out because of the long-range turrets with priority targeting and the hoplite wall and stuff. So,
and the UAVs. Let's not forget the UAVs.
Yeah, so pretty soon it's going to be just fleets of 3 Witch Doctors. It's going to make for a very boring, non-diverse game. But if you would put out the corrosive concussive armor, you could change that.
Just saying.
Just saying.
Very good.
No, we need a new turret first for the next bounty, so that there'll be no bear sitting again. That's what we want first.
I think we pretty much have all our turrets out at this point. We have all the damage types, right? And we have all the different ranges for all the damage types.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure turrets are done.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else out there. Probably the things that you do want to do, stitching this back up and going back to the start again, is fill up on all your resources, get them all ready, because you're going to have 4 days where you're not going to have anything or very little coming in. So make sure you're topped up and ready to go and get those expeditions happening. And I guess now that we've got our resource generators, you can get a little trickle from there as well. But
I banked my first titanium one today. I got a whopping 100. No, was it 133 titanium? I think. I was like, "Oh, how awesome!" I was like, "I can't fit one freaking weapon with that." I don't think.
Well, it's coming in, I guess, at least. So, and
it'll be interesting now, though, to see, since you're the one who told everybody to do it, whether you do it or not. Because I know I always am the one to tell everybody to do it, and then I forget. So it'll be interesting to see if you get to wear that hat this time.
Well, I'm sitting on crates, so I'll be okay. So I don't need to worry so much. So I'm not a spend as I get. So I'm okay there. Very good. Well, I think that's probably covered pretty much everything that we were going to talk about. So unless anyone's got anything interesting or anything from chat, I think probably we're done. I don't really think there's probably much else we can cover.
Oh, I'm sure there's more we can cover, but we're not going to.
No.
That's basically where we're at.
I know last week we went on for a fair while, so
yeah, we've been at it for like an hour and 40 minutes at this point, and I'm pretty sure that's enough.
Yeah.
Button pusher Mike's going to do his job in a minute.
All right, cool. All right, well, good luck, everybody. I hope you have a good week in Battle Pirates and getting ready for the raid. And I guess next week we'll be able to talk about the raid and see if we've got any, good builds and what we've found works and what we found haven't. Remember that there's...
We'll discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah. Remember, there is if you are a lower level, there's they're running a few of the campaigns again this time, so in the background, so that can be a way to get points. See how you go. Don't try and bite off too much too soon. So yeah.
What are those campaigns for? I forgot to look.
Oh, hang on. Sorry, I had it pulled up here. So they are Crushing Tide. So this
Tide Seekers.
Yeah. Oh, well, you can earn a fleet of Tide Seeker ships. So,
but why is it Tide Seekers? Why wouldn't it be like hunters at this point? They're going back 2 fleets ago now. As opposed to 1 fleet ago, like they did with the Skyfires.
Well, it does say catered specifically to low-level players. So, and I guess if you, and they're talking about including some new PvP ships. I get it. Sorry.
Yeah, that's in the right. I'm actually kind of excited to see what the new PvP ships for lower levels are. I'm kind of interested to see those.
Yeah. And they've got tokens in the FM, so maybe it is a way for them to start to get into it, or to start earning your own uranium because you're going to need it, and maybe it is a good way. So yeah. Anyway, that's all that.
Stop bringing up new shit. Just stop.
If you stop talking,
all right. I'm taking over at this point. All right, guys, give us a like, give us a share, subscribe, send your friends to the page. Make sure if you add somebody to the page, they actually still play the game. And we'll talk to you guys on Thursday. Until then, have a great one.
See you all.
Good night.
Have a good night, all.